Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our next webinar in a series of information on member choice vacations. For all of you tuning in right now, we just want to let other attendees come in. We do plan on starting just after 4 p.m., so please feel free to hang out with us, and we'll be with you in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who tuned in this morning, we had some technical difficulties and we apologize for that. However, we are loaded up with an excellent presentation for you this afternoon, and thank you again for tuning in. My name is Jeremy Maville. I'm the Digital Marketing Manager here at the Travel Department for AAA, and I'd like to introduce you to Megan, who's our Master of Ceremonies, if you will, for this afternoon. And she'll tell you about some housekeeping rules for today's presentation and introduce you to Kevin, who is our presenter this afternoon. Megan?
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jeremy. First off, welcome everyone. As Jeremy said, thanks for kind of hanging in there with us this morning and coming on back this afternoon. So we're so excited you are able to join us. And first, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Meg Horn. I'm one of the travel sales managers here at AAA Northeast. I'm joined by my colleague, Stacy Crowley, as well as Kevin Carter from AAA Member Choice Vacations. So, as Jeremy mentioned, we do have some housekeeping here. Everyone on here is actually muted, but this is definitely interactive. So we want you guys to feel free to ask some questions while we're going through everything. Stacy is going to be kind of monitoring those questions and kind of answering them as the presentation goes along. To ask said questions, if you kind of hover over the bottom of your screen, you'll notice that there's a little toolbar down there. You should see two boxes that overlap, and the one has a little question mark in the middle. You click into that, and that is going to open up a text box for you, and you can go ahead and ask any questions that you might have throughout the presentation. Stacy will also be wrapping up at the end to kind of, if there are any outstanding questions, anything like that. So really, I mean, once again, on behalf of everybody here at AAA Northeast, we're glad you guys are able to join us in our trusted travel partner, Member Choice Vacation, for the first of a back-to-back series now, since we couldn't do this morning. So Kevin will be kicking it off and focusing on some of their spotlight tours for us, and then the presentation right after this is going to be a little bit more focused on national parks within the U.S. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and just hand it right on over to Kevin, and enjoy, everyone. Thanks again for joining us.
Great, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for those of you who are joining us again. I do apologize for this morning, but we have a great presentation. We're going to talk about AAA Member Choice Vacations, kind of what our safety protocols are doing. Good news is we are starting back up tours. We've had some great searches on our sites with AAA, and we're going to really feature what people are searching for, what they're interested in, and then overall just kind of travel in general, what AAA Member Choice and the value it has, and we're going to talk about guided in general. So thank you again for joining us. We're going to talk about why guided travel. Maybe you have experienced guided travel, maybe you haven't, maybe you've heard about guided travel. and really how guided travel has adapted. We're going to talk about the different travel styles. We've been around 102 years. We have changed quite a bit, and we've adapted with the ever-changing traveler. Right off the bat, this is kind of our new launch with traveling well, with things being as they are with COVID-19. So I wanted to talk about our commitment to traveling and being well on tour. We are opening up destinations when destinations do open up. We don't anticipate and we don't hope to have major cancellations or large weeks or months of cancellations. We hope to open up destinations and countries when they open up. And if they can abide by our policies and our safety procedures, then absolutely want to leave it up to the people whether they want to travel or not. So we are looking and we are cleaning this up and really trying to see what we can do. In summary, the Traveling Well experience will be, we're asking travelers to complete a wellness declaration form before joining the tour. We've always had our private sedan service. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but our vendors will be servicing the cars and when having different passengers. And then we are also operating tours at smaller groups. We've had exploration small groups, but we are looking at our mainstream classic product and bringing that down to a smaller group. So there are empty seats and guests can space out. We are having enhanced training for our tour managers, and we're providing face masks and pre-tour documents for each guest. And motor coaches will be disinfected often and have hand sanitizer available at all times. When we're working with partners and restaurants for social distancing protocols, good news is we work with all our vendors directly. We don't use a third party, so we can abide by these. And if our excuse me, if our vendors cannot, we'll use different vendors or we won't operate the tour. So if we're not able to use a restaurant or maybe a museum is not open and the integrity of the whole tour is not affected and we can still run a good portion of it, we're going to reimburse the portion if maybe a restaurant isn't open to large groups or larger groups. So they will not lose out on the tour experience. Protocols will be in place for guest start that feel unwell during the tour. Of course, we'll be monitoring the situation. And then we'll have post-tour surveys. This is a work in progress. This is a very fluid experience. We're going to listen to you and your agents and share your opinions on how we can improve the tour experience and then really see what we can do on opening up other destinations. We have announced that our classic tours are going to have about 150 departures to start off with maxed at 29 travelers. So this is our mainstream that are capped at 44 typically. And we're going to be maxing out at 29. So we think our average will be about 24 guests and members. And so this is going to be so we can space out the coach, adequate physical distancing, and comfortable and enjoyable travel experience. So either on a brochure or on our sites, the agents can point out and we'll have this little icon for the smaller group experience. So more to come on that. I talked briefly about the sedan service, but this is a private sedan service for you. It's to and from the airport, complimentary with any land and air package booked with AAA Member Choice Vacations. It isn't within 50 miles. It does not need to be your physical home address. We contract this out with vendors. It's really a private limo service. So you can feel free to work with the vendors and your agent to make sure that you're within that 50 miles. It can be a friend or family's home. And then within 50 to 75 miles for 100 gateways throughout the US, there would be a small surcharge. So this could be, depending on where you live, a $200 to $400 value for you. And this is, again, inclusive of land and air packages booked with Member Choice Vacations. So this is our industry-leading travel protection plan. I usually talked about this at the end, but I think it's relative right now about how your travel plans are protected. This is with all bookings. You can cancel within 24 hours between your tour and you get a full cash refund back. And that does include trip delay, travel delay, trip interruption, which during COVID-19, we did have some tours on tour. We were able to get them back as soon as possible and then reimburse the members that didn't experience the full tour. So they were reimbursed a portion of the trip they didn't experience. Of course, it covers baggage loss and delay. There's a 24-hour emergency assistance, and then obviously missed connections and medical or illness on tour. A new addition to our flexibility of our travel protection plan, because we really want you to feel confident in traveling and booking. So if you do book a tour and it departs before December 30th or through December 30th, 2021, you can move your date one time with no change fees up to 60 days out of departure. So just let's say you are booked on Italy, you can change to the same itinerary, a different date, or you could move to a different departure, even in a new destination. So if you weren't comfortable and something happened in Italy, you could move to a U.S. national parks, you could go to a Spain, and then maybe if there is a price difference, you would just pay the difference. So that's a one-time, no charge, no change fee. So to talk about travel in general, good news is people are searching, people are interested, people are booking. We've talked to accounting and people are paying in full for tours, even leaving through Italy in August. So I really want to talk about the confidence in the travel industry, and you have fantastic agents working with you and telling you what destinations are going to be open up to tour. So we're going to talk a little bit about the experience of Member Choice Vacations and the differences between guided and really how it's changed. On all our tours, as AAA members, you save an additional $50 on every tour. That is combinable with any offers or our loyalty program. So really, to talk about guided travel, good news about Member Choice Vacations, we just don't say, you're going to be in the Venice area, you're going to be maybe a 4-star in the Venice area. We give you a listing in our brochures on our itineraries of our accommodations. We're very proud of them. We contract them in person, and we have fantastic vendors all over the world. And they're high quality, iconic, and unique hotels. Really Instagram worthy. We used to say centrally located, but now we say strategically located, because as you can see here, these are the Igloo hotels in Finland. They're absolutely Instagram worthy, bragging right worthy. Because really, when we added this tour 3 years ago, our Finland tour, we added 20 departures because it was so popular. And people want something different. The traveler is a little bit more adventurous. They want something off the beaten path. And as I said before, these are bragging rights to be sleeping underneath the Finland stars and maybe even the Northern Lights. Just an amazing experience. So obviously these aren't centrally located. These are just iconic and strategically located on tour. Whether you've traveled on guided tours or not, you may have an objection that you don't want to be hopping around one-night stays. We tried, and we pride ourselves on really having multi-night stays in hotels. Very rarely will we try to have a one-night stay. We average about 2.5 nights per stay at hotel. And when you consider that we have 160 itineraries to all 7 continents, some being 30 days and some being 5 days, you should be averaging close to 3 nights per hotel is fantastic. So you really can pack, enjoy the amenities, enjoy the hotel itself, and you can get acclimated to that area and then really enjoy the destination. So typically we have a one night, we'll be sightseeing, getting you comfortable with your tour manager. And then on average, we're really trying to have a one night stay on your own, a nice balance of sightseeing and inclusions, but also the traveler now, we know that is a little bit more adventurous. They want to do things on their own. They want to be pointed in the right direction and maybe not held by the hand. And we've really adapted in that way. So 50+ tours have 3 or fewer hotels. 75% of our tours use 5 or fewer. And our Spotlights tour, which we're featuring today, is a 1 hotel stay. So you really can pack and unpack once and use that hotel as really your hub. We've really upped our game in the culinary aspect of guiding. Years ago, maybe 20, even 15 years ago, people wanted 8 hours of touring and 3 meals a day, and they really didn't care what they had. But we've changed. 50% of our, 7% of our meals are included, breakfast every day at the hotel, at leisure, and then 60% of our dinners are included. We listened, and people didn't necessarily want a lunch unless it was a unique experience. They wanted to kind of explore and shop and maybe grab a gelato and kind of do their own thing. And then 60% of our dinners, people said, well, if you give me a dinner, make it a great experience. So we do river cruises, we do Ayers Rock in the Outback, and things like Ellen's Stardust Diner for breakfast in New York City. These are sometimes reservations you have to book months in advance. So that's a great value and a great alternative for guided. Is really you get to have these aspects of we've done the research. We know there's no waiting in line, buying tickets. We do dinner in the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and these are just iconic restaurants. But we've also added a lot to our culinary experiences. Things like progressive dinners or dine-arounds, home-hosted meals, interactive classes. We've had chefs walk our groups through a farmer's market, pick up the ingredients, and then bring them back and do a cooking demonstration for the group. Those are great with our small tour experiences. You can do those things, and then maybe some wine pairings, wineries, olive oil, and places that you can pair and learn a lot about the food and the cuisine of the region. So these are exclusive experiences. And then the regional specialties, we pride ourselves on really getting out to the local restaurants. We don't typically use hotel meals, very rarely, unless you're using the Fairmont, Banff Springs, and the hotels or restaurants are fantastic in their experiences in themselves. We really try to get out to the local restaurants, meet the locals, have the regional specialties, and always have choice. So if you really want to experience food in Iceland or things like that, you have that ability. We also include the must-sees. We're not a very option-driven company at AAA Member Choice Vacations. On average, we average about 2 to 4 options, which would not be included in the package on an 8-day or 10-day trip to Europe. So just to give you an example, where maybe some other companies, may have 8 to 12. It's just the way that they've packaged it. We feel that we want to have the best value in the company, so we don't want to ask for more money on tour to see the Colosseum or to go into museum visits. So when we do have an option, it might be kind of a little bit more adventurous, like a balloon ride in the Outback, or maybe a balloon ride in Africa, or maybe a free dinner. If you still want to do a group, we're going to offer a group dinner with transportation and maybe a show. So those are the things, but the must-sees are included, so you don't have a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. So the worst thing is, you get to a destination and you're paying another $500 to $800 to actually see the region. We really want to make sure that at AAA, we're including the must-sees. AAA Member Choice Vacation really have been the pioneer of choice on tour. I mentioned before, 15, 20 years ago, people wanted everything included. They wanted to be handheld by the tour manager, but the traveler is a little bit more adventurous. They want to get out. They want to be pointed in the right direction. So we've started having choice on tour. These are not additional costs. These are kind of, you get to pick what you want to do that day. For instance, you could go snowshoeing or guided ice canyon walk in Canada. Zip lining or a hike in the lava field. So one might, again, be a little bit more adventurous than the other. Or in Iceland, we do a bike tour of Reykjavik or a walking tour. So again, it's your choice. We give you the paint and the canvas, and you can kind of point yourself in the right direction. So what's your travel style? I talked about Classic. That's our flagship, capped at 44, but we are running tours at 29. Explorations is our small group, which is capped at 24, but we're running around 8 to 12 on those. And then Spotlights we'll be talking about. And then we do have a few river cruise and faith-based portfolio of tours if that's of interest. So our Spotlights tour is a pack and unpack tour. They range from anywhere from 5 to 9 days. They're fully guided. and they are a nice balance of 50% sightseeing and inclusions, and then 50% kind of to do your own activities. But that tour manager stays with you in the hotel. They're there on call. So if you still want to do anything or you want to ask their advice, it's like having a friend in the area. They're with you, the same tour manager on the whole trip. So these are also great for if you do have interest in river cruising and cruising, and maybe that's such a vital company for our travel industry. But just keep in mind that if that's maybe something that you love, but maybe you're going to take a day off, Spotlights are a great alternative because you do unpack and unpack once. So if you love that cruising and you love the amenities of the cruise ship, maybe you'd consider Spotlights. So if you would like to feature, we do have a lot of Spotlights and a lot of product in the US. We have more product than any other company in the US and North America. It's really how we started as a company. And we're finding our searches and people that are interested and even booking at this point are looking at maybe a little bit closer to home. Maybe they didn't consider national parks or these destinations, but they're feeling a little bit more comfortable than international travel, and that's fine. So really work with your agent and talk about maybe destinations that you were considering maybe a few years down the line that you would consider maybe this year or next. Now, Spotlights on South Dakota, it's 7 days, 9 meals, and it's featuring the Black Hills and Badlands. And as you can see here, you're using that hotel for 6 nights, and then what we call hub and spoke from that area of Rapid City, and you're seeing beautiful areas of South Dakota and Wyoming, Devil's Tower National Monument, Deadwood, Badlands National Park, and of course Crazy Horse and Mount Rushmore and Custer State Park. So really a fantastic tour. You'll be flying in and out of Rapid City, and you could always on any of our tours, whether they're 5 days or 30 days, you can always extend at the beginning or end, or many people do back-to-back tours if they're able to. So the flight is the biggest cost. If they're going, some members have also asked for back-to-back tours, and that works very well in certain areas, especially international. One of my favorites, absolutely love Santa Fe. It's one of my favorite cities in the United States. It's 6 days, 8 meals. If you've never been to Santa Fe, or never heard of really traveling to Santa Fe, the way I explain it, it's basically an outdoor museum or gallery. It's the second largest exporter of fine art after New York City in the US, and absolutely just a gorgeous place. Great food, great people, easy walking city, and it's just a wonderful time to travel throughout the year. You could travel in the spring, summer, and fall and really get amazing sights and sounds and flavors. So this will be a 1-night hotel stay. It's a 5-night. We use a fantastically centrally located Adobe-style hotel in the middle of Santa Fe. And then you're going to head out to different areas, and you're going to be flying in and out of Albuquerque. So that's only about less than an hour drive. And I'll tell you, that drive to and from Albuquerque to Santa Fe is absolutely gorgeous. You don't want to take a nap during that trip. You have some really fantastic scenery of the deserts of New Mexico, and you're really going to see a lot of culture and experiences in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. And on this one, if you wanted to extend in Santa Fe for a night or two, or even in Albuquerque, really a great time to be in and out. In Albuquerque, there's a lot to see there. Spotlights in San Antonio. This has always been one of our top rated tours and top travel tours. Really a great trip, 5 days, 5 meals. You can spend a whole week in San Antonio. Similar to Santa Fe, great food, great culture, and just the Riverwalk. We work with a fantastic hotel partner in the middle of, San Antonio, right on the Riverwalk. You walk out and you get right on the Riverwalk, and you're walking distance to everything you really need to see. And one of the best river walks throughout the whole country. You can get to many malls, many shops and restaurants right outside your hotel. Spotlights on Washington, D.C., 6 days, 8 meals. And I'll tell you, it's one of those cities that 6 days you cannot see everything there is to see with all the monuments and museums. A lot of inclusions here, and if you notice that the double arrow, that's a lot to let you choose. So if you have interest in certain museums, certain destinations, tickets can be purchased in advance for you, and also a great way to extend your trip at the beginning and in the end. Great time to visit is spring and fall, summer, but also in the spring you have your cherry blossom that are in bloom in Washington. So you can work on dates with your agent to see Washington, D.C. One thing I can say about Washington, D.C. is if you don't have tickets in advance and you go up there, you're spending a majority of your day waiting for tickets and in line to enter. A great opportunity with group travel and escorted and guided travel is you don't wait in line, tickets are pre-purchased, and you go in as a group, and that's a great opportunity to save time. And really, that's really one of the biggest investments is time in Washington, D.C. So you want to make sure that you're spending your time wisely, tickets are purchased, and you're spending your time in the museums, not in line. A brand new tour. Really a fantastic tour. Nashville has just absolutely blown up in the last few years as far as people flocking to live to Nashville, but also visit. It's all over movies. It's TV shows now. It's the live music capital of I would say the world. It's unbelievable, the live music and the talent that is there. And you can you could be at a restaurant and see famous people and musicians just walking all around and sitting at just restaurants. But this is 5 days, 7 meals. We are walking distance to the main strip of where all the honky tonks are. A great hotel, brand new hotel that just opened up last year, and you're walking distance to the water, to the shops, and there's a lot of inclusions as far as restaurants, music, and entertainment. So a really great tour with great value is Spotlights on Nashville. Also, international trips. We do offer many Spotlight tours. So if you're interested, I did Paris a few years ago, and I wasn't necessarily a big city person. If I wanted to travel, I kind of like to get out to the countryside. But I'll tell you, it was my first time to Paris, and it is one of my favorite cities. It is absolutely gorgeous, and what you hear about, whether it's negative or positive about Paris, it's not negative at all. People are fantastic. The food is amazing, and it's one of those places that it's just an outdoor garden and outdoor gallery, really. A lot of inclusions, and that's another one like Washington, D.C. There are a lot of lines, and you want to make sure you're spending your time valuable time. And we skip all lines. We go through as a group, whether we're going up the Eiffel Tower, having dinner on the Eiffel Tower, or what have you. So. That's history, architecture, art, and cuisine. That just tells you right there about Paris. And staying in France, we have a Spotlights on the French Riviera, which is 9 days. I'll tell you, this is great value for a European destination with air. You really want to price this out throughout the year, spring, summer, fall. Unbelievable value for what's included. And you're right on the French Riviera. So this is where the Europeans have been really traveling and vacationing for years. Great hotel location, fully guided, and we're going to have great choice on tour. So 9 days, 11 meals are included on this Spotlight on the French Riviera. As you can see, we're staying in Nice, and then you're going to be hubbing and spoking, and then you do get an extra full day at leisure to enjoy at your own. So there is so much to see here, so much that we do. This is another one that people may do a river cruise and then extend or add this at the beginning or the end, or maybe do back-to-back tours and really this is great because you're doing 7 nights in a hotel and it's a little bit more relaxing. As always, if you don't have we don't make you do any of these places. So if you wanted an extra day and say, I've been to Monte Carlo, I don't necessarily need to see it again. You just let your tour manager know, and they make note, and then they're just not searching for you, and you can do what you want. So this is a great in and out of Nice flights from all over. Great destination. Spotlights in London, 7 days, 8 meals. Another one that I'll tell you, if you go to London, it's a lot of entry fees. It's a lot of waiting in line. Let us do the research. Let your travel agent do the research. and there's so much to absolutely see. Thing about London is you want to be in the right place at the right time. There's a lot to see, there's a lot to do, and it's all about timing. So whether we're getting to see some parades or changing of the guards, things like that, our tour managers have done this tour maybe 50, 100 times. They know where to be, when to be, so keep that in mind. And then spotlights on Rome, 7 days, 8 meals, one of the most iconic cities in the whole world. Great museums, great cuisine, and just a wonderful destination. Spotlights on Tuscany. This has always been a top tour for us. 9 days, 10 meals. We're really looking forward to when things open up back in Italy, especially in northern Italy. Tourism is so important to them. They're so welcoming with food and wine, and they're just so proud to show off their country. So this is a wonderful tour that we do 7 nights in Monte Catene Terme, which is really a resort area, many spas, great time. And then this is another one that either you can go in and out of Florence, or if you wanted to extend in Rome, that's a possibility, so you can work with your agent on that. But look at all the places that you're going to see Siena, San Gimignano, Pisa, Lucca, and this destination, there's just absolutely so much to see. The good news is you have, I think, a whole full day and a half of free to enjoy at your hotel. Pack and unpack and enjoy your destination. So that's all. We do have more Spotlights programs, but I wanted to really feature the most popular and the most searched and the most bookings recently. So if you've ever traveled with Member Choice Vacations, we do have a loyalty program. With things being as they are with COVID-19, we are extending this for 2 years of loyalty credit. So whether you have this credit or you have this credit, you're traveling soon or want to travel soon, this will be good for 2 years, $150 travel credit per person, and that is combinable with the member benefits and any offers that we have with AAA. Oh, that slide came up on me quick, but I want to thank you so much for taking your time, and thank you for your patience this morning. And then I think we're going to open it up to some questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kevin. So we'll give it a few more minutes for those questions to come in. Just as a reminder, you can click that Q&A box on your toolbar on the lower right-hand side of your screen, and you can type in any questions that you may have from there, and we can get those over to Kevin to answer. One of the most common questions that we get asked at these events is why book with AAA? Booking with AAA really does have so many benefits. I know Kevin touched on quite a few of those today, but some of them include saving you time, valuable time and money. We're able to leverage our relationships that we have with our preferred partners, just like AAA Member Choice Vacations, to offer you special member benefits as well. We're here to give you all of our travel tips as well as destination-specific recommendations. There's no hassle or stress when you work with someone at AAA, and if something goes wrong, we've got you covered. The best part about using a travel agent with AAA is that it's included in your membership. So there's no additional cost to sit down and use our travel agent's knowledge, which is so wonderful. Our travel agents are always here for you. We have many ways for you to connect with us. Your travel agents will follow up with you in the upcoming days just to answer any remaining questions or specific questions that you may have, and to help you start planning one of these wonderful Spotlight vacations. You can also call us at 1-800-222-7448 to get connected with an agent. You can go to our website at AAA.com to chat or set up an appointment, or you can email us at reslink, RESLINK at AAA Northeast, and we can connect you with an agent that way as well. I will publish all of that information for you guys, so anybody that missed that will be able to take a picture or write that down. So again, I'll just give it another couple minutes. It looks like we do have a couple of questions. Someone is asking what member benefits are available to them when booking Member Choice Vacations. Kev, do you want to take that?
Absolutely, yes. It's up to well, it's $50 on every tour, and then they do get an extra dollar amount off up to $75 on an optional excursion. So that would depend on the tour and if the tour has an option, because we average around 2 options per tour. So if it doesn't, you would just receive an additional discount. But it's a $50 member benefit being a AAA member.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. So that's a free $50 just for coming through AAA that you wouldn't get anywhere else. That's amazing. Someone is asking, are the trip dates coordinated to combine 2 spotlight trips? I mean, I can pass that over to Kev, but I can also say that if you're looking at 2 in particular, or there's certain destinations that you would like, you can work with your travel agent and they can kind of help coordinate that. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Kevin.
Yes, actually, we're getting more and more people like to go over to Europe and do back-to-back tours, whether they do a river cruise with the AAA agent that might not be AAA member choice vacation. They might do a Viking tour and then extend on a London and Paris tour, for example, or extend on our Italian vistas. And then some have done like I said, London and Paris, and then extended and a short flight over on our reflections of Italy. So when they're going over, and we all know that the biggest cost of the whole trip is air, why not extend? And typically our members and the people that travel with us have time and have the means. So we're getting more strategic as far as working on tours that go back to back and extend. So keep an eye out for that. But I think you're right. Best thing to do is work with your agent, and they can kind of go through the calendar of events.
Yeah, great suggestion there. These 2 questions kind of go hand in hand, so I'm gonna kind of ask them together. Do the Spotlight Tour costs include airfare, and can I also book air with my tour? So the prices for the Spotlight Tours are land only. However, your travel agent can help you help you book that in addition so that it comes as a package. I know Member Choice Vacations offers some phenomenal air prices, as well as getting that sedan service as well if you book your air through them, which is phenomenal. And your agent can take care of all of those details for you. They can help you find the best deal and work with Member Choice Vacations to make that happen for you. Do you have any special offers or incentives happening now?
Absolutely, yes, great question. I was going to kind of go over that, but we do have a worldwide travel offer that we've just extended through the end of July. And typically we work with AAA, and we do booking travel around Thanksgiving and Black Friday isn't just about shopping at stores anymore. People book a lot of tours, so we had typically anywhere from 10 to 15% off tours for maybe a few days during Black Friday or after Thanksgiving. But we have this booking window that depends on when you travel, and it could be up to 15% off international travel. And this is through the end of July. This is combinable with all member benefits, loyalty credit, and anything that is combinable, and then 10% off domestic travel.
That's great. That's such a great deal. All right, so that looks like all of the questions that we have for right now. Like I said, our agents will follow up with you guys, and I'll share the contact information as well if you wanted to reach out to us. I don't know about all of you, but I am definitely going to be contacting my travel agent as soon as we are done here. I am definitely ready for a vacation. I wanted to thank Kevin just for, again, for giving us a glimpse into these incredible itineraries. I also want to thank all of you for spending some of your evening with us and for being so patient with us this morning. As Meg stated earlier, we are also hosting AAA Member Choice Vacations following this at 5 o'clock for a presentation on their trips to the national parks. We really hope that you can join us, and we look forward to seeing you at our next virtual travel event. I hope you all have a wonderful night.